My name is Isabel Chen, and I'm 24 years old. After my first major gallery showing in Phoenix, I came home elated, imagining proud hugs and genuine congratulations. But instead, I was met with a scene that stopped my heart cold. My paintings, all 12 of them I'd stored in the garage, slashed to ribbons and stacked in a dumpster behind our house. My mother stood there, arms crossed, her voice ice cold. "You're 24 now. It's time you got a real job and moved out." Beside her, my younger sister Mia stood with a smirk, nodding like they'd choreographed this moment together. My chest tightened, but I smiled. Not a smile of joy, but of silent fury. They'd planned this, waited until I was celebrating my success to destroy the work I'd spent 2 years creating. Without a word, I grabbed my portfolio case, slid into my car, and drove away, their voices still ringing in my ears. 3 months later, my phone exploded. 37 calls and one panicked text from my dad. "Where are you? We need to talk." What had changed? Why did they suddenly need me now? If you were in my shoes, would you answer or keep driving forward? Share your thoughts in the comments. I grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona, where perfection was the only acceptable standard. My parents, David and Catherine Chen, ran a successful medical practice. Dad was a cardiologist, Mom a dermatologist. Every conversation revolved around success and their vision for our family legacy. My younger sister, Mia, was their masterpiece. By 22, she'd graduated pre-med from ASU with honors, secured a residency at Mayo Clinic, and gotten engaged to another doctor. I was the disappointment who chose oil paints over operating rooms. Isabel's always been creative, Mom would say, the word dripping with pity. I'd graduated with a fine arts degree, but my parents saw my $25,000 in student loans as a character flaw. Mia, of course, had a full scholarship. "You need to be more like your sister," Dad would say. "Mia understands what it takes to succeed." I paid $400 monthly rent, bought groceries, helped with yard work. None of it registered. "Still painting?" Mia would ask, her tone suggesting it was adorable I hadn't grown up yet. My updates, landing illustration contracts, getting accepted to gallery shows, were met with polite nods before conversation turned back to Mia's surgical rotations. The comparisons carved out pieces of me. Mia was the straight-A student, the volleyball captain, the one teachers praised. I was the kid who spent lunch in the art room. When I chose art school, Mom cried, "You're throwing away your future." When I took freelance work, Dad shook his head. "You're settling for scraps." Every choice was judged against Mia's perfect trajectory, and I was always lacking. The worst moments were when Mia visited with her fiancé. The house transformed into a celebration. They'd listen to every word about her latest surgery, their wedding plans. I'd sit there, invisible. "Isabel's still doing freelance illustration," Mom said apologetically. "Still chasing the dream, huh?" Mia said with that pitying smile. My bedroom became my sanctuary and my prison. Money was constant anxiety. Student loans demanded $280 monthly. Art supplies weren't cheap. One night, I asked Dad to borrow $200 for a portfolio website. "You should budget better. Mia never asks us for money." I paid with my credit card and watched my debt climb. But my work was getting noticed. Gallery owner Patricia Reeves saw my paintings at a group show. "Your work has something special," she said. "I want to feature you." I spent 6 months preparing 12 large-scale paintings exploring identity and displacement. When I told my parents, Mom barely looked up. "Will it pay anything?" Dad was direct. "Galleries are vanity projects. When are you going to get serious?" I stopped sharing. Then came my opening night at a gallery in Roosevelt Row. The space was packed. Collectors, artists, a critic from Phoenix New-Times. By evening's end, I'd sold 4 paintings at $2,500 each. $10,000. The critic approached me. "I'd like to feature your work. You're tackling complex themes with impressive skill. I drove home rehearsing how I'd tell my family. Maybe they'd finally see me. I bought small gifts, a scarf for Mom, a wallet for Dad, a bracelet for Mia. I texted Mom. Gallery show was amazing, sold 4 paintings, can't wait to tell you. No response. I had no idea that while I was celebrating, they were destroying everything I'd stored in their garage. I arrived home just before sunset. Then I saw it, a dumpster in the alley. Inside, my paintings, 12 early works slashed to ribbons and stacked in a dumpster behind our house. My mother stood there, arms crossed, her voice ice cold. "You're 24 now, it's time you got a real job and moved out." Beside her, my younger sister Mia stood with a smirk, nodding like they'd choreographed this moment together. My chest tightened, but I smiled. Not a smile of joy, but of silent fury. They'd planned this, waited until I was celebrating my success to destroy the work I'd spent 2 years creating. Without a word, I grabbed my portfolio case, slid into my car, and drove away, their voices still ringing in my ears. 3 months later, my phone exploded. 37 calls and 1 panicked text for my dad. "Where are you? We need to talk." What had changed? Why did they suddenly need me now? If you were in my shoes, would you answer or keep driving forward? Share your thoughts in the comments. I called my college friend Jasmine from a parking lot. "Come to my place now," she said. That night, I crashed on her couch, homeless at 24, my early work destroyed. Finding stability was brutal. A tattoo artist from the gallery, Marcus Wu, connected me with a studio apartment. Small, but the light was good. $950 monthly. I lived on rice and beans, walked everywhere, learned to cook on a hot plate. Patricia commissioned a new series for $3,000. "Your work is getting attention," she said. I threw myself into painting, late nights, every free moment at my easel. The series explored phoenix imagery, rebirth from destruction. It felt personal. Work became my anchor. Freelance illustration paid bills, gallery work fed my soul. Marcus and Jasmine became my chosen family, people who saw my work, valued my passion. 3 months in, I'd found my rhythm. Then my phone started ringing. 37 missed calls from my dad. 1 text, "Isabel, we need to talk. It's urgent." I called back. "We're in trouble," he said. "Mia's wedding fell apart. Marcus called it off. The clinic's being audited. We're facing serious financial issues." "And you're telling me because—" "We need your help. You have savings from those paintings." I laughed. "The paintings you destroyed?" Silence. "Dad, you threw me out. Mom slashed my work. Now you want my money? We're your family. Family helps family. You made your choice when you destroyed my art." I hung up. The calls didn't stop. "Mom, we're losing the house." "Mia, stop being selfish. We raised you." I blocked them all. Through acquaintances, I learned what happened. Mia's fiancé discovered she'd been hiding massive debt. He walked away. The clinic was being investigated for billing fraud, nothing they'd done, but they'd have to pay for it. They'd gambled everything on Mia's perfect trajectory. Now, both were crumbling. 6 months later, I stood in a Los Angeles gallery. My Phoenix series had caught a major collector's attention. I'd paid off my student loans, all of them. Patricia called. "You've been selected for a group show at LACMA." I cried from relief. I'd built this without their approval, despite their sabotage. 1 year after they'd thrown me out, I had my first museum show. The opening was packed. Critics, collectors, students. Jasmine hugged me. "I'm so proud of you." Marcus raised his glass. "To rising from ashes." My phone buzzed. Unknown number. "We saw the article about your museum show. We're sorry. Can we talk?" I read it twice, then deleted it. Some apologies come too late. To anyone reading this, your value isn't defined by family that can't see it. Mine couldn't see my art as real, couldn't see my passion as valid, couldn't see me as anything but a disappointment. So I built a life where I saw myself clearly. They paid a price, lost their clinic, their reputation, their perfect daughter's future. I paid mine too, destroyed artwork, a family I had to leave. But I gained something irreplaceable, freedom to create on my own terms. That's the power of knowing who you are, regardless of who your family thinks you should be.